Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out the range with the BCM, the 10,000 round BCM. If you guys have been following along, we recently posted a video. We were on the road filming for a new television show, and we put the final 800 and some rounds through the gun. Paul from BCM came out and joined us for that filming session, and we got it over that 10,000 rounds. And so a lot of you guys have had two questions. What does the bore look like, and what does the accuracy look like? Now, we did some informal accuracy testing, very loose accuracy testing very quickly while we were out there. But today I want to put it on a bag on my range, use some match ammunition. Got some Federal Gold Medal match, 69 grain stuff that we're going to use and see what it does. We may put some ball rounds through it. We'll see. But we want to see what the accuracy looks like. Does it have any accuracy left? But before we do that, I want to do a borescope. And I have a Tesla borescope here, and I'm going to record the bore on this rifle with the 10,000 rounds through it. And then I have another upper here that has less than 100 rounds through it, maybe 150 rounds, something like that. Relatively new BCM upper. I'll show you what that barrel looks like in comparison. So let's get started with today's video. Check out this barrel, see what that looks like, see what the gas port looks like. I think that's probably the most interesting part. And then we'll do our accuracy testing. A lot of folks ask me, how can I get involved in the firearms business in that particular community? And one of the best ways to do that is to become a gunsmith. Every gunsmith I know is just overbooked with work. It's a very good living. And so if you would like to become a gunsmith, you need to go to a gunsmithing school or become an apprentice for an existing gunsmith. But Modern Gun School is an accredited college that also works with veterans in the GI Bill, where you can go and get a degree from accredited college in gunsmithing and then go out and start your own gunsmithing business, which I think is a really great option. Again, throughout my entire life, gunsmiths have always been able to earn a really good living, assuming they have a really strong work ethic. So please check out Modern Gun School. I do have a link in the video description below. So our little Tesla borescope camera, this is the monitor that I'm going to be looking at, but it's also recording. And so I will overlay the video that it's recording so you guys can see what I'm looking at as I'm talking. Let's go ahead and start that recording. All right. Hopefully it's recording. All right, so here is the 10,000 round upper. I have locked the bolt to the rear and the weapon is clear. I'm going to go ahead and close the bolt because I want the camera to stop at the bolt face so we can take a look at the chamber area, the lead, and all that good stuff. All right, so all this is just basically a little mirror with a light on the end. You guys can see there. And it's pretty simple. Just run it down the bore. Now, what I want to take a look at first, of course, the whole way down the barrel, I'm going to be looking at the lands and the grooves. And so right now, I'm looking at the lands and grooves. Now, I want to make it clear that we did punch the bore on this. We used some Seal 1 products and scrub the bore out so we can get a good look at the barrel. And so that was the first time. That was after the 10,000 rounds were fired. So right now, I'm taking a look at the barrel. The lands and the grooves are pretty smooth. I mean, I can still make them out, but they are faint. You can also see where the chrome lining is gatoring, which means it's kind of flaking away from the bore. And this is going to happen on any chrome lined barrel. Once you start getting it super hot and running a bunch of rounds through it, that is going to be the outcome. So yeah, we're definitely seeing some erosion there. I think is that that gatoring of the chrome lining. Let's see if we can get to the gas port here really quick, because this is what I find to be the most interesting. And I'm going to run right past it, I bet. Oh, there she is. I can see it. All right, so the gas port. This is where things get a bit interesting. So right now I'm taking a look at the gas port, and you're going to see a few things. So keep in mind, when the gases are tapped off into the gas tube to go back to operate the action of the firearm, you're going to get what's called flame cutting. Those extremely hot gases, propellant gases, are going to erode away at the steel. There's no avoiding it. Every barrel that has a hole drilled in it for gas purposes, for functioning of the weapon, is going to see erosion at that point. Now, you're going to see a little tail, and the tail goes the opposite direction of the way you think it is. The tail is going to be going towards the muzzle end. And so we can kind of see that erosion, that really deep cut of the tail. And what's going to happen is this erosion takes place. It's going to increase the gas pressure to the system because it's allowing more gas through, because the hole, the opening, is getting larger from that erosion. And that's going to start to overgas the rifle. And we did see that, right? We saw the gun start to eject the brass forward. A properly gassed AR-15 should be throwing the spent cases out at about the 3 o'clock position. By the time we got to 10,000 rounds, this thing was throwing the brass pretty forward, 2 o'clock position, let's say. All right, so that's interesting for sure. Just going to keep running down the barrel. Same thing. We're seeing a lot of the gatoring. But what you guys are going to see is we still have plenty of lands and grooves in there, right? So you're still going to get bite on that bullet, which will impart the spin. So we should have some semblance of accuracy, which we've kind of already seen. All right, enough of that. Let's get down towards the chamber area. And this is important because this is where obviously the ignition takes place. All right, so this is all the way up against the bolt face. You can see the crud there. I'm gonna try to keep from getting that all over my camera lens there. And I'm just taking a look at the chamber itself. So as I'm looking at that, looks fairly normal. Some spots and lines, perhaps what would be known as a carbon ring in the chamber area, like a little line there of carbon. And now I'm moving up to the lead. And now you can definitely see the erosion. So this is where the bullet, the case neck ends right about here. And this is where the bullet makes the jump to the lands and grooves. So it'll be smooth. And there's that smooth area. You can still see there's chrome lining there. And then it constricts. And then that's when the bullet engages with the rifling and starts its trip down the barrel and starts its spinning. Now you can see a lot of carbon built up in that groove right there. That's really interesting. As we take a look around, you can see the wear on the barrel and some of the buildup of the carbon that's just kind of permanently attached itself there. So that's really interesting. So we definitely have lands and grooves. We definitely see that gatoring. It looks like the back of a gator. That's why I'm calling it gatoring. It looks like the square patterns you're going to see on an alligator. That's what the chrome lining looks like in the barrel, especially down towards the lead and the chamber area. All right, so that's what this barrel's looking like. Let's take a look at a relatively new barrel. Again, just not even 200 rounds through it. So if we run the camera in there, first thing you're going to notice is how shiny the bore is. And I haven't punched the bore on this. We fired the gun, but it hasn't had a chance to really accumulate any carbon or anything like that. You're going to see bits and pieces of carbon in there, but that is a very shiny, clean bore for having not been cleaned. All right, so you can see the difference now, how clean and how strong the chrome lining is. You're not seeing any of the flaking or what I'm calling gatoring in the chrome lining. Let's get down to the gas port. Try not to pass it here. I may run past it by accident. I think I may have. Let me try to line that back up again. These bugs just want to fly right in my eyeball. All right, should be coming up on the gas port here. There it is right there. All right, so there's the gas port. So as you can see on the gas port right now, you know, it's a perfectly round gas port, but you're already starting to see signs of that little tail. But it is the tail, and it's starting to appear. And again, this is going to happen on every gas-operated rifle that has a hole drilled in the barrel. You're going to get that flame cutting of that port. So as we move further down the barrel, I mean, this is what a relatively new barrel should look like, right? The marks that you see, the striations and stuff like that, that's just from the bullet passing down the barrel. And let's run it all the way down to the breech face here. And here, you can see we haven't punched this barrel out. That's just some carbon from shooting it in the chamber area. That's normal. Just squares of carbon that have accumulated in there from the firing we've done. And then here we come up to the lead. So right here is where the bullet's going to make the jump to the rifling. All right, see how clean that is? How the chrome's completely intact. Nice, smooth transition. And then the rifling is still nice and sharp without the chrome starting to flake away. So that's what the barrel looks like, new versus old. I hope you guys found that interesting. Now, I think the real test is let's load up some match ammunition into the 10,000 round upper. We have a target at 100 yards, and we'll see what kind of groups we get with it. Now, we do have the exact same VCOG scope on here that we had through most of the testing. When we first started almost 6 years ago, we had a red dot on it, but I put the VCOG on there so we could do accuracy testing later. And so it still seems to be mostly zeroed. Let's see what she does. All right, guys, so we have a few rounds of this Federal Premium, and this is some 69 grain match ammo. And they do supply the ammunition free of charge to the channel. I want to thank them for doing that. And this is my last box, and I think I have 3 rounds left. I need to get some more. All right, 5 rounds loaded. It should be mostly zeroed. It should hit the cardboard, if not the actual target I have set up down there at 100. Let's see what we can get out of it. The reticle in the VCOGs is a very coarse reticle. It's not exactly a precision optic, 6 power maximum magnification, and a very coarse reticle. I have to say, it did better than I thought it would. I mean, it's not the tightest group in the world, but it is a group. Let's take a look. All right, guys, so this is what we got. Our 5 shots out of the 10,000 round rifle with the 69 grain match, and this measures just a hair over 3 inches. I'll throw a picture up, show you the actual measurement, and we measured center to center from the 2 shots furthest apart. So is that to be expected? Yeah, I mean, with match ammunition, I guess that's about what I would expect. Maybe I was expecting something a little bit worse. It's hard to say what this gun may like. So as the barrel has worn, there's different bullet weights, bullet velocities, all sorts of stuff. This is 69 grain ammo. We didn't do an extensive test, obviously, today. We didn't try 77. We didn't try, other match weight bullets. We just did what we had. And 3 inches means the gun is still perfectly capable of engaging targets. Now, of course, with ball ammunition, that's going to open up. You're going to be in the 3, 4, 5 inch range with ball ammunition. So that would have degraded even more. So the match ammunition is making it look fairly tight, but most people don't shoot match ammunition. The testing we did with the rifle was with 55 grain federal ball ammunition. So in terms of the durability test that we did over the last 5 or 6 years. So anyway, yes, there's still rifling in there. 10,000 rounds. 10,000 rounds isn't typically enough to kill a barrel in 5.56. But what we've done to this gun does cause accelerated wear, and that was dumping 5 mags, sometimes more. There are some early videos we did. I believe we actually did 2,000 rounds in a day. So we got that barrel scorching hot, so hot I couldn't even hold it by the mag well. The mag well was getting hot. That's how hot we got this rifle many, many times. And that means that barrel was being subjected to that heat as well, which accelerates the wear in the barrel. So this 10,000 round barrel is probably more like a 20 or 30,000 round barrel at this point. So that is actually pretty impressive. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. What were you expecting? Were you expecting worse accuracy, better accuracy? What do you think of 5.56 in general in terms of accuracy? Because we have our own opinions. We've done videos on that. Let us know in the comments down below. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. We do have more footage. I do have to get the footage. I didn't record it myself. It was recorded by a different company, but I have the full footage of every single round fired of the last 800, which I will post down the road for those of you that just want to sit and watch a gun go bang. But we do have the abbreviated version that's already up, and I'll put a link to that in the video description below. If you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms channel, please consider becoming part of our Patreon family. Link in the video description below. Right here on YouTube, you got the thanks and support button underneath the video player you're watching right now. Feel free to mash either one of those buttons and support us right here on YouTube in the age of demonetization. Swing by, check out Copper Custom. Thanks for watching for 17 years. We'll talk to you guys soon.